So the Bible opens up and it says, in the beginning, God created. And it goes forth and it says, God created this, God created this, God created this, and talks about how God created the entire universe and the world. Now, I don't think it's meant to be in a scientific sense, but I think that it is saying that all creation, everything that we touch, everything that we see, everything that we smell, everything that we hear, ultimately goes back to that initial creation. God chose to create. And why did he create? Because that's part of his nature. Now, if you take that to its logical conclusion, then you would see that man, being made in the image of God, is also meant to be a creator. Now, the ironic thing is, we're really bad at creativity as of late. This didn't always used to be the case. We actually were the pioneers in creativity. Christians were the pioneers in creativity. We were the ones that were putting out the things that were beautiful, those things that spoke of what it meant to live in the image of God. Take, for example, Handel's Messiah. Probably the most beautiful musical composition to ever be written. And Handel's Messiah is written to talk about the prophecies of Christ coming, to talk about the incarnation, the death, and the resurrection, and the ascension of Jesus. And it maps this out in the way that Handel could explain it through music. Or you take Phil Keaggy, one of the best guitarists to ever live. And he plays his music in a ministerial way, showing this is how God's created me to be. And why would I not use my talents to serve him? Why would I not use my talents to actually show that God is creative? Or take Rublev, right? Rublev's, or you can take Rembrandt, but let's take Rublev, for example. Rublev's The Holy Trinity is a masterpiece. The way that it is developed, the way that it is painted, and the story that it tells in a subversive way is astounding. I want to show you this picture. Here's the Holy Trinity. Now, this is the Holy Trinity from an Old Testament perspective. It comes out of Genesis 18. And I'm going to read you the description that one commentator put on this. He says, although their heads are tilted at different angles towards one another, the faces are identical. And each holds a staff, suggesting they equally possess divine authority. Each of the figures wears a blue robe, again pointing to their oneness of being, yet they also wear different colored garments, indicating their distinctive identities. Their faces, bent towards one another, disclose their humble, self-effacing love for one another, while their gleaming eyes convey their enjoyment. No one is speaking, but an intimate conversation is going on. Now, there's more in this icon that's worthy of exposition. But it tells you that, listen, Rublev, in painting this, he just didn't try and throw something together in 30 minutes. He thought how he could convey through creativity and through art what the gospel was. Christians, we're often really bad at music, and we're really bad at art, and we're really bad at movies. And when we do things like take The Blind Side out and say, well, it's got some profanity, so it's not worth our time, and we try and make a safe alternative, a substitute, which doesn't actually portray the real world, then we lack creativity. Creativity ultimately interacts with the real world in an incarnational way, by saying we are here, we are part of this world, and so let's use it, let's better it, let's actually cultivate it. One of the reasons why Tolkien's Lord of the Rings became so popular was because it told the story of Christianity in a pre-Christian world. Not blatantly, but it did so in a subtle way. One of the reasons why C.S. Lewis is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all time is because he told the story of Christianity to children in a creative way. And so you see things like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, produced by Walt Disney, as being really, really good art. Or you see Lord of the Rings, or you see The Hobbit, and you see that portrayed, and that's really, really good art. Listen, if Fireproof or something like that actually helps your marriage, then I'm not to stand in between and say, don't watch that. If it's good for you, absolutely. But here's the thing, when we try and reject good Christian art, good Christian creativity, and exchange it for safety, and exchange it for something that's a little bit less offensive and a little bit more palpable to our taste, then we actually end up hurting ourselves. Because good art is confrontational with reality. It confronts it. And it says, this is the way that things are. in a dramatic fashion, in a way that we can't really put in words. And once we start to lose that, once we start to lose that creativity, and once we start to lose that art in exchange for things being safe, then we start to actually misrepresent reality. Christianity is anything but safe. Christianity is anything but non-offensive. It will offend you. It will not be easy. And it will confront you.